Krishna Bhakti.
Oh my Krishna Bhakti. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Ranjana Yashodanandana Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana Madhava Kunja Bihari
Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Ram Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashto Tadashata Shri Srimad Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Status Quo, Chapter 32, Entanglement in Fruitive Activities, Text 3. Touch Shradaya Kranta Matihi
Touch Shradaya Kranta Matihi
Pritudeva Vrita Puman
Trideva Vratapuman
Gadva Chandra Masam Lokam
Gadva Chandramasam Lokam
Somapa Punar Ashyati
Somapha Punareshati.
Touch Shradaya Kranta Matihi
Touch Shradaya Kranta Matihi
Pritudeva Vrita Puman
Trideva Vratapuman
Gadva Chandra Masam Lokam
Gadva Chandramasam Lokam
Somapa Punar Ashyati.
Punareshati.
Please chant.
Tachchudaya Krantamati Pitrideva Vritakpuman Gatva Chandram Samlokam Somapa Punarishyati Tachchudaya Krantamati Pitrideva Vritakpuman Gatva Chandram Sanlokam Somapa Punarishyati Tachchudaya Krantamati Pitrideva Vritakpuman Gatva Chandram Samlokam Somapa Punarishyati.
Chant.
Tachchudaya Krantamati Pitrideva Vritakpuman Gatva Chandram Samlokam Somapa Punarishyati.
You know, Hiranyakashipu, he performed great austerities, and what he did is he was standing on, I don't know, I think it was on the tip of his toes, but he was like this, you know, standing on the tip of his toes for thousands of years, and he was there for so long that, I mean, he was practically just skin and bones, and I think some of his skin was off, his just bones were there, and he has a big anthill, it was a whole thing, and then Brahma gave him the benediction. So I was thinking, like in India at the Kumbh Mela, you see these guys, and their austerity, they've been doing it their whole life. They're like this, and their arm becomes stuck like that. And everybody thinks, oh, these guys are so great, and, you know, we should worship these guys, you know, but, yeah, they're stuck like this, you know. Can you imagine? Or like this. Somebody walking down the street like that, you know. So, we don't think it's so great because, I mean, Hiranyakashipu was doing it. Like, what are they doing it for, you know? They're not doing it for the pleasure of Krishna. They're doing it for, oh, people could recognize me. I'm a great whatever. I doubt they're doing it for the pleasure of Krishna. Because it's not recommended like that. You know, Rupa Goswami doesn't say in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, yeah, you go like this, you know, until you get stuck there. So we have a different process. I mean, I was just thinking about that because I was stretching a little bit. Okay, so word by word. Tat. To the demigods and forefathers.
To the demigods and forefathers.
Shraddhaya.
Shraddhaya.
With reverence.
With reverence.
Akranta.
Akranta.
Overcome. Mitihi.
Matihi.
His mind.
His mind.
Pitri.
Pitri.
To the forefathers.
To the forefathers.
Deva.
Deva.
To the demigods.
To the demigods.
Vrataha.
Vrataha.
His vow.
His vow.
Puman.
Puman.
The person.
Person.
Gatva.
Gatva.
Having gone.
Having gone.
Chandramasam.
Chandramasam.
To the moon. Lokam.
Lokam.
Planet.
Planet.
Somapaha.
Somaha.
Drinking soma juice.
Drinking soma juice.
Punaha.
Punaha.
Again.
Again.
Eshyati.
Eshyati.
Will return.
Will return.
Translation. Some materialistic persons, attracted by sense gratification and devoted to the forefathers and demigods, can be elevated to the moon, where they drink an extract of the soma plant. Get intoxicated. It doesn't just happen in PB, you know, this other place. They again return to this planet. Purport. The moon is considered one of the planets of the heavenly kingdom. One can be promoted to this planet by executing different sacrifices recommended in the Vedic literature, such as pious activities and worshipping the demigods and forefathers with rigidity and vows. But one cannot remain there for a very long time. Life on the moon is said to last 10,000 years, according to the calculation of the demigods. The demigods' time is calculated in such a way that one day, 12 hours is equal to 6 months on this planet. It is not possible to reach the moon by any material vehicle like a Sputnik. But persons who are attracted by material enjoyment can go to the moon by pious activities. In spite of being promoted to the moon, however, one has to come back to this earth again when the merits of his works in sacrifice are finished. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 9:21. Te tang bhuktva swargo lokam vishalam chine punya marta lokam vishanti. Om Nigantamadanda Selgananjana Shavakaya Chakshilamilitamina Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha Kam Karivachalam Pangam Nangai Tegirim Yakripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gunandina Tanam Vancha Kapadribisha Kipasan Devacha Patitanam Pavanipya Vaishnavibya Ramanaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Maybe get stuck like this, huh? Watch your timing. So translation again. Such materialistic persons attracted by sense gratification and devoted to the forefathers and demigods can be elevated to the moon, where they drink an extract of the soma plant. They again return to this planet. So it's usually Bajranarayan Swami's day, but because he's speaking tonight, he didn't want to speak in the morning, so he asked me to do it, and I agreed. So, yeah, I wasn't expecting this verse to come up in the chapter of Lord Kapiladev's explaining these different verses to us, but I wasn't expecting a verse about the moon to come up. And it's interesting topic, interesting idea that yes, the moon is a heavenly planet, and at least in days of yore and some time ago, there was a lot of people who wanted to go there, and I doubt that a lot of people want to go there now. They probably don't have much faith in that idea. They want to go somewhere else, SanDiego or something. But in relation to the universe and moon and planets and these different things, ideas, Srila Prabhupada said that when the 5th canto of the srimadbhagavatam is published, when it comes out, many of his disciples will waver in their faith, and many of his disciples will actually give up Krishna consciousness. Because back when Srila Prabhupada was physically on the planet, and he was producing his Bhagavatam, it was coming out gradually. Prabhupada came and he just had the 1st canto. So then the 2nd canto, 3rd canto, 4th canto. So Prabhupada made that prediction or statement, and it was true, that devotees who, growing up with certain training and education, they, scientific mind, you could say, they gave up Krishna consciousness based on the radical statements of the 5th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam and describing how the universe works and different things like this, but the moon. There was one devotee, disciple, Srila Prabhupada, named Purushottam Das. And he was Srila Prabhupada's personal servant or assistant. He would travel with Srila Prabhupada and help out in different ways, right? Like a disciple does, washing the clothes, this, that, so many things. And Purushottam Das had this attachment to modern science, and he had strong belief in practically in many things that they would say. So Prabhupada was in London, I believe, or somewhere in the world, and it was at the time of the moon landing. So devotees, they brought in a television, and they showed Prabhupada, and oh wow, there's a moon landing, and Purushottam was there, and Srila Prabhupada was there, a few other devotees, and Purushottam was really excited. So, they're landing on the moon, and he was very enthused. But Prabhupada wasn't impressed. And he said, no, it's not valid, that's not true. But still, Purushottam, even though Prabhupada would joke with him about this. One time, devotees were in London, and Purushottam was there, Malati was there, Devi Dasi, and other devotees, and Malati was cooking for Srila Prabhupada. So then all of a sudden they hear this big commotion in the kitchen, like a bit of an explosion. Oh, what is it? And everybody rushes to the kitchen, and Prabhupada's there, all the devotees are there, and then Malati, she's full of soot, her face, it's all like full of soot. And Purushottam's there, and then Prabhupada, so everybody says, oh, what happened? And then Prabhupada, he says, oh, Malati, she just came back from the moon. Yeah. And everybody starts laughing. But besides Purushottam, he wasn't laughing. He didn't find it amusing. So Prabhupada would joke with him like that.
Another time they were looking for him. Where had he gone? He needed to do something. So Prabhupada said, have you seen Purushottam? Prabhupada said, maybe he went to the moon.
Yeah. So, and then after some time, he left Prabhupada's service and went back to college in the United States. I don't know where he is now, but so sometimes these different ideas they shake devotees' faith, and there's so many ideas like that could do that with presented in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So like I was saying, not presently, but in the past, within Vedic civilization, within Vedic culture, people would have would have a lot of faith, or have some faith at least, in the Vedic scriptures, Vedic literature. And they would know something. They'd be aware of the scriptures from hearing them from different devotees, or different people, different speakers. And based on that faith, they would actually want to go to the moon, or they want to go to higher planets, and then therefore they would endeavor for that. They perform sacrifices, they do this, they do that, so many things, pious activities, with the aim of going there. And nowadays, as time progresses, and as people, I don't know if they're progressing, but maybe they're progressing in a certain way. Like Prabhupada said, what is their progress? The progress is like, the moth to the flames of fire. So they don't have that faith, and they want to not go to the moon, but for example, those in India or in other places of the world, they look at good old America or some other materially nice place in the world, and they want to go there. And when they come to America, a lot of them, SanDiego is known for its good weather, not too hot, not too cold, so they want to come to SanDiego. And then when they get to SanDiego, they want to go to the also very well-known, materially opulent place of La Jolla. So if they could get there, then that is their, heavenly planet. That is their satisfaction for some time. But as Srila Prabhupada points out here, quoting the Bhagavad Gita, he says, Te tam bhuktva swarga lokam vishalam chine punyamarta lokam vishanti. That, I'll read the verse from the Bhagavad Gita. It says, when they have thus enjoyed vast heavenly sense pleasure and the results of their pious activities are exhausted, they return to this mortal planet again. Thus, those who seek sense enjoyment by adhering to the principles of the three Vedas achieve only repeated birth and death. So people may make it to the moon planet, people may make it to, nowadays people may make it to SanDiego, this and that. But what happens? Over time, they become old and feeble and sick and diseased, and then there's death, and then repeated birth and death. So they don't really So the enjoyment is temporary. I mean, just like my grandfather. He's now 80. My mother's father. He's 80, maybe 2 or something. And yeah, you could say that time is really. It's really, what is it called?
Taking its toll.
Yeah, it's really taken its toll, ravaged him. Yeah, his physical body, his is breaking down. I mean, he's in more or less good spirits somehow or other, but his physical body's breaking down, and yeah, so that's and it happens to everybody. But if you look at him, picture 20, 30 years ago, I mean, he's actually a pretty materially, he's a handsome guy, look like whatever, anyways. But not, time changed things, his body. So yeah, that's what happens. That yeah, people may reach a certain level of material enjoyment, but then what's the end result? It's not very glorious. It's not. There's actually practically no enjoyment. Just like we were walking, Tirtha Maharaj and myself were walking down the street yesterday, and we walked past this old folks' home or this retirement place here, and I was seeing some older ladies sitting out there and men, and yeah, I mean, okay, they're here in Pacific Beach, sunny Pacific Beach, but everybody knows they have that old body, and they just can't squeeze out any more enjoyment, just suffering there. Which for an intelligent person, they don't want to become old. Well, they're forced to become old, but they don't want to become old and have a particular type of mentality, and that is that materialistic mentality of still hankering for sense enjoyment, but they can't have it. It's almost like a ghostly existence, just like the ghosts, right? They have that subtle body, but they can't actually enjoy. So it's a ghostly existence. And it's quite sad, actually. I mean, even like I was in Vrindavan, and you think that last time I was in Vrindavan, October, and 2017, and I was sitting there taking prasad in the Krishna Balarama hall with all the devotees, and I think Hasagrami was there, maybe Zach was there, and whoever. And then this Indian young man sits next to us, probably in his 20s, 25, something like that. So he sits down and he starts talking with us, and oh, where are you from? And we say we're from America. And then he starts glorifying Western culture, American culture. He's dressed in shirt and pants. He lives in Mathura. And starts glorifying it. And so many different aspects of Western culture. Then we're eating with our hands, taking prasad with our hands. And he says, yeah, this eating with the hands, he said, it's not so good. He said, better the spoon, the spoon's better. Anyway, it keeps on going on like that. And he explained how he was trying very hard to get into a university in America. But he tried so hard and hard, but he failed. And he told me, he said, it's so hard to get into a university in America. He said, I really tried, but it just didn't work out. It's really difficult. And he wasn't lighthearted about it. It was really weighing on him. He had a heavy heart in relation to this. And you could tell he was frustrated and even angry about this. So he's hankering for the sense enjoyment of America, or what opportunities of sense enjoyment in America, but he cannot have it. And therefore it's that frustration. So again, it's like a ghostly existence. I mean, he's right there in Mathura. He's right there in the holy land, right, of Krishna, but still he's suffering in that way. It's amazing, actually. Unfortunate. So this Martya Loka, that's what's being brought up here. The Martya Loka, where does it go? Martya Loka Vishanti. So they come back again to this world of death. It's quite a dramatic statement, right? World of death. It's like, oh my God, world of death. But that is the case. It's a world of death. I mean, the spiritual world, there is no death. Everyone's deathless. It's the spiritual world. So the intelligent person, they don't want to go to the moon. Maybe to preach they'll go or whatever, but they don't want to go to the moon to enjoy sense enjoyment and the soma ras. They don't want to be nicely situated in La Jolla or this place or that place or somewhere in this material world. But the intelligent person sees beyond that. That, okay, there's a spiritual world, and I should endeavor to go there. That's an intelligent endeavor. So we should be intelligent in that way. Rather than the business of hallucination, hallucinating. And everybody who is struggling with getting out of the illusory energy, or who is situated in illusion, yes, they hallucinate different things, right? Like people hallucinate, oh, I want to go to La Jolla, then I'll be happy. Or I want to, a young man says, oh, I want to be with a young woman, then I'll be happy. But the case is always the same, that no, none of those things are going to make a person happy. Like, for example, my mother's brother, my uncle, he passed away many years ago, but he was a bit of a womanizer. And he wasn't, like you could say, a womanizer in the sense that he was a young, handsome guy, and women liked him, and he liked women, and he was able to, have a girlfriend, and then be with her, and then have another girlfriend, and have another girlfriend, like that. And he would always tell his father and my mother, he would say, "Oh, this is the one, she's the one." Every time, "Oh, she's the one, she's the one." And then my mother and my grandfather would say, "Oh, there he goes again. He's saying she's the one," just like the last one. And then some time would pass, and then he would look all depressed and sad, and he would tell my mother, "Oh, I'm just bored with her, and she's got this problem, got that problem, so many defects." I think he was a Virgo, so he had that perfectionist mentality. And he was just unsatisfied. And then later on, he got into the realm of chocolate. He started eating. I mean, he didn't become whatever, but so the point is, he was just dissatisfied. And yeah, I mean, you'd think, oh, he's here in SanDiego. I mean, he's a handsome man, and beautiful young women, and I mean, he had things going for him, but still, he was just unsatisfied. So that hallucination that he had, and it was actually quite sad because he was, in many ways, as I never met him, but I heard on some level he had some intelligence. He was clever in many ways. But it was unfortunate that he wasn't given the opportunity of Krishna consciousness. Because if people are given that opportunity of Krishna consciousness, they see that alternative, that positive alternative. And that's the business of the Vaishnavas, that everybody's more or less an illusion, and the business of the Vaishnavas is to snap that illusion, to wake people up, and to help them. Say, hey, here's another alternative, just like me. I mean, I could have done many things with my life. I still can, I guess. I'm going to. That's the plan. Spiritual things. Spiritual things. By Krishna's mercy, Vaishnava's mercy. But I could have done many things materially. But I didn't. And many people say, oh, that's a mistake, but I don't think that's a mistake. I think it's the greatest thing. I think it was a good decision. But that didn't come just by my own intelligence and, me making my way in this world and coming to Krishna consciousness, but it happens by the association of devotees. Tirtha Maharaj, some time ago, he sent me an email, or he forwarded me an old email that he was communicating with this, our old brahmachari buddy, Tota Gopinath, whose disciple Lokanath Swami now is in Utah with his wife and daughter. So Tirtha Maharaj, years ago, he's communicating with Tota Gopinath, And he forwarded that email to me, and the email was about me. So this is dated. I'll just read it because it is relating to the point I'm trying to make. So this is, huh?
Something in regards to the move?
No. No. Well, it was something in regards to me losing my attraction for the hallucination of material enjoyment. Yeah. So it says Thursday, October 12th, 2006, 3:20 a.m. This is the early email. So, subject forward, Bhakti Bronson. So this is Tirthamaraji's Mahatattva Prabhu. Prabhuji, did Bhakti Bronson move in yet? If not, could you join forces with Bhakti John, that's Giraj Gopal, and see what could be done to speed that up before Maya fills up his schedule? And then he goes in, is there any news about Bhakti John's initiation? And I'm in Jaipur right now. Hare Krishna, your servant, Hatattva Das. So, so it's an example of Tirthamaraj, and there's many examples of devotees who they're thinking that, okay, hey, here's a young guy or here's a young girl, whatever, and they need some help, and we should try to engage them, get them to join the temple, this and that. Why? Because if not, they're just going to go on their hallucination trip. In previous times, right, they'd be trying to go to the moon. But times nowadays, whatever, they'll do other things, which we all are familiar with what people endeavor for. So, so these different misconceptions that people have, or that sometimes I may have, or devotees may have, that if I just change the circumstance, then I will be happy. Doesn't work. So, and that's what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur told Srila Prabhupada on the roof there in Kolkata. He said, Krishna consciousness is so important it cannot wait for anything. And Prabhupada was arguing, well, what about we should become independent first? We should become an independent country. We're under the rule of the British. You know, we should first become independent, and then we could preach Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's message. But then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said, no, this is temporary. This is illusion. This is temporary. No, spread Krishna consciousness immediately. And Prabhupada accepted. He said, he accepted defeat, and the rest is history. So, so similarly within ourselves, we also may have many concerns, right, about our material concerns, hell, that whatever, so many things. We have our concerns that, okay, I'll get to Krishna consciousness eventually, or I'll get to Krishna consciousness when, you know, I'll take another body which is more suitable. My present body is, right, my mind is disturbed, my body's, right, not very capable of many things. I'll just wait till my next birth, you know. But no, it's so important, it cannot wait for anything. So, so whatever the case, whether we are hallucinating and striving for material enjoyment, or we're hallucinating in the sense that we want things to be perfect before we become Krishna conscious, both of those should be given up. Because as it's being brought up here, I mean, it's a serious condition we're actually in. I mean, we're in the Martyloka, the place of death. We're on this earth planet, so much suffering, so much illusion happening. So it's a serious condition in the sense that it's not our constitutional position. It's not our original position. So instead of becoming illusioned by all these different things, we should strive for the most important thing. That's Krishna consciousness. I forgot that verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Practically, it's saying that we shouldn't strive to go up to the higher planes. We shouldn't strive for material. We shouldn't strive for anything, and also the material enjoyment which is available in the lower species of life. But we should strive for that most important thing, Krishna consciousness. So yes, whether we live for 10,000 years, which is a duration of life on the moon, still, Marti Loka Vishant, we have to come back to this birth and death. Whether we live for 100 years here, usually people don't. It's all in relation to the eternality of us. These are all very short time frames. So the intelligent person, they go after the enjoyment which is eternal. They don't go after the temporary stuff. Because whatever the material enjoyment in this world, I mean, the actual enjoyment, the actual activity, I mean, is super fleeting. The time frame is super fleeting. So it's all in the mind, actually. Oh, it's going to be so great, but it's just super fleeting. And as souls, what's the nature? We want unending enjoyment that does not end at all. So that's the problem that we face in this world, that we want an unending enjoyment, but what happens? We get temporary enjoyment. So it's like, oh man, I want to keep on enjoying. But it doesn't work. So with Krishna consciousness, this is what Lord Kapila Deva is advising us to do. Whether we're attracted to go on the moon, which I doubt any of us are. I don't know, maybe. I mean, there's actually one brahmachari, Bhaktivedanta Purna Swami says in one of his talks, he says that there was a brahmachari in India. Sometimes the American brahmacharis, they think the Indian brahmacharis are, super pure, and if only I was an Indian brahmachari. Well, they have their problems too. So, I mean, some of them I'm sure are very pure, but there's a brahmachari, ISKCON brahmachari, right there. And he was performing all these severe austerities and different things. And then devotees asked him, they said, why are you doing this? And he said, well, I'm doing this so I could go to the heavenly planets and enjoy. And he was dead serious. He wasn't joking. He was dead serious. So, but anyways, I doubt any of us want to go there. But whether we want to go to the moon or we want to go here or we want to go there, we have so many desires. Our main business is to try to overcome those materialistic desires and become Krishna conscious and help people become Krishna conscious. And then ourselves, we're free from Marti Loka, the place of death. But we enter the spiritual world. So does anyone have any question? Yes, Bhajanarayan Swami.
Well, you created a false dilemma. It's the cause of your frustration.
I'm so frustrated up here. Yeah, you can't believe.
No, but I mean, if I say, I wish that I could fly. I want to fly. Well, you can't fly.
Yeah.
I can become a bird in the next life, but discounting that, if I just accept reality, I'm going to get old, I'm going to die, and in every age there's the happiness of youth, there's the happiness of young married life, there's the happiness when you're an old man and playing checkers with your friends. So just don't accept this false expectation to raise the bar too high, and life is great. Hey, I'm going to get old, I'm going to drop dead, that's it. That's the way it goes. So I'm not in all the anxiety and frustration, I'm having a great time. And I accept the inevitability of old age and disease.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as far as statistics are concerned, or as far as statistics go, there is a lot of anxiety in America, specifically. Actually, His Holiness David Meade Swami brings up in his book Hiding in Natural Happiness, says that this is the capital. We're in the capital, America, of anxiety, and that means all of America, youth, old people, this, that. So, and anxiety is unpleasant. I mean, it's a frustration. It's a disease condition to be in. So, and if you devotees, I mean, if they're practicing sincerely and seriously, we'll see that anxiety is lessened to practically nil, material anxiety. So, at least for me, I mean, speaking for myself, I was never satisfied with that conclusion. Oh, well, you know, you got the enjoyment of youth, got the enjoyment of old age, but and if you analyze what is that enjoyment, it's like, okay, but I mean, okay, there's something there, sure, I'll admit that, but maybe there's something more. And at least I have faith and I have conviction that there is something more. And that conviction that I have is based on my experience, some of my experiences I've had in Krishna consciousness, the pleasure, happiness that I've experienced. So, and I have faith that can increase. So if somebody presents that, okay, fine, and if you're so stubborn that you want to remain in like that, then what can I do? But at least I could offer it, but if you reject it, then I'm sorry, I can't do anything.
Yeah, they say that till they're hit by a bus, until they get out. You know, I mean, it's the biggest love you ever heard in your life, you know.
Yeah.
And like you say, there's an alternative. Well, use your brain, but there's an alternative.
Yeah. At least accept the possibility.
Yeah.
Experiment.
Yeah, make a serious inquiry. Practice.
So does anyone have any other questions? Okay. All right. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.